A newly proposed bill would force food chains to better label their caffeinated products, and it is called the Sarah Katz Caffeine Safety Act, inspired by a promising Ivy League student who died after drinking a highly caffeinated energy drink. Sarah Katz was a 21-year-old from New Jersey, then studying at the University of Pennsylvania. She had a heart condition since the age of 5 and avoided caffeine in energy drinks at the recommendation of her doctors, according to a lawsuit filed by her parents. But on September 10th of 2022, she purchased and drank a charged lemonade from Panera Bread in Philadelphia, according to the lawsuit. It accuses Panera Bread of not properly labeling the very high caffeine content in the charged lemonade and selling it alongside regular drinks. According to her family's lawsuit, Katz suffered 2 cardiac arrests and died later that day. Her family pointed to Panera's charged lemonade drink as a contributing factor in her death, calling it a, quote, dangerous energy drink. Sarah's roommate, Victoria Conroy, watched her very good friend suffering from cardiac arrest shortly before she died. And Victoria said of the incident, quote, she was very, very vigilant about what she needed to do to keep herself safe. I guarantee if Sarah had known how much caffeine this was, she never would have touched it with a 10-foot pole. We want to bring in Victoria Conroy now, Sarah Katz's former roommate and friend. And we also want to note that Panera Bread has since reached a settlement in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the parents of Sarah Katz. They are no longer selling charged lemonade. Victoria, thanks for coming on. And I know how difficult this is to talk about. You were there the day Sarah died. You get a phone alert about Sarah. You run in. What do you see? Take us back there.
Hi, first of all, thank you so much for having me and bringing awareness to this really important story. So to take you back to the day, it was September 10th of 2022. I got a phone call from some mutual friends of ours who were at a birthday party with Sarah. I was upstairs in my apartment with a couple other friends. We ran downstairs as quick as we could and we found Sarah. She was on the floor. The paramedics had just gotten there about 30 seconds before we did. And after what felt like a lifetime, the paramedics were able to stabilize Sarah enough to move her to Penn Presbyterian Hospital, where she ultimately later passed a few hours later.
Yeah, what were your first thoughts when you heard that she had ultimately passed?
You know, it was shock, disbelief, anger, sadness all at once. I don't know if there are words to describe how it feels losing a close friend at such a young age.
Tell us more about Sarah as a friend. How do you remember her?
I remember her as the most outgoing person I have ever met. She knew everyone. We could not go anywhere on campus without her knowing and saying hi and having to stop to say hi to at least 10 people. We always had to leave a little earlier because we knew Sarah was going to run into someone she knew. She was loving and caring and fiercely loyal to her friends and had the biggest, brightest, bubbliest personality you could imagine.
And I can see how you light up by just talking about her. And I know we have this ready to pull up on the screen here because it is a shocking amount of caffeine. So many of us as adults consume caffeine on a daily basis, but we're talking about 400 milligrams almost. That was, is the recommended maximum amount per day. There was a significant amount in this charged lemonade. Any question in your mind that she had any idea what she was drinking at that time?
No, I can say for a fact that Sarah was not fully aware of the amount of caffeine that was in this drink. I have had instances with her where she has told me that she cannot drink energy drinks like Red Bull that have, way less than the amount of caffeine than this charged lemonade does. So I can say with certainty that if Sarah had been fully informed of what was in this drink, she would not have drank it.
Yeah. And, Panera no longer selling their charged lemonade. It's a trend right now, though. Are you seeing this everywhere? What goes through your mind when you're seeing the availability, the wide availability, and people maybe not having any idea the sheer amount of caffeine that they're drinking?
Yeah, and I think that's why the Sarah Katz Caffeine Safety Act is so important, so that consumers are able to make informed decisions about what they're putting in their body. I've heard stories of mothers giving the charged lemonade to their young children because they weren't fully aware. So it's really just about, no one's saying ban this or, putting restrictions on what you can and can't drink. It's just that you need to know exactly what you are drinking so you're able to make an informed decision.
What do you think Sarah would think of the Caffeine Safety Act?
I think Sarah would think that it's incredible. I think Sarah would think that it's something that we needed to do a long time ago. You know, Sarah was a Red Cap ambassador with the American Heart Association. She taught CPR in schools in underserved communities. And she also worked with CHOP and got legislation introduced to make schools heart safe zones. So Sarah was a passionate advocate for heart health safety and awareness her entire life. And now, as one of her close friends and her roommate, what I want to do is continue that legacy and honor her in that way.
Yeah, and you absolutely did that tonight. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.